It is Tuesday and Marvel Snap just got a little more toxic. Welcome back into your weekly scouting report, the show where your pal Sal is going to provide you with a variety of lists that you can try out the brand new card in on day one of it releasing. Today we're looking at White Widow. White Widow is a 2/2 with an on-reveal ability to add a Widow's Kiss to your opponent's side of this location. She's going to fit perfectly into junk decks. That Widow's Kiss is a 0/0 with an ongoing ability. This card has -4 power. Disable this ability if your side of this location is full. And the your that we are referring to is your opponent. Your opponent will need to fill up that location in order for that Widow's Kiss to go from a -4 to a 0 power. Now you can expect to see all of the typical jerks that fill out a junk deck. You're going to have the Hood, you're going to have Sentry, you're going to have Annihilus, you're going to have Debris everywhere for the next few days in this White Widow pocket meta. So be ready. But if you want to play it, if you want to be a part of that, stick around. I will show you 6 decks that we can take out there and make our opponents rage quit Marvel Snap. You had to know that the Annihilus lockdown was on the way, and the first spicy package that we have up for you today is one by Dera. Now, we've got the Unholy Trinity, we've got the Hood, we've got the Sentry, and we have the Annihilus in here. What this deck is trying to do, pretty straightforward, right? We're going to lock down our opponents by either clogging their lanes with the Hood, the -10 power from Sentry and the Annihilus, or we're going to use Professor X to just maintain our power and our lead in one lane where maybe we have a Nebula or a Sentry. Daredevil is going to allow us to make these really cool and good informed decisions on turn 5 and also some head games for snapping. And then the Cannonball is going to be typically your turn 6 play, Cannonball or Annihilus, plus usually a 1-drop like the Demon that we got from Hood earlier. But if you end up in a weird little pickle where you Professor X'd a lane and you weren't actually winning there, your turn 6 can always be a Miss Marvel and a Jeff, giving you some flexibility. White Widow just seems like a natural inclusion to a list like this, especially if you follow it up with a Cosmo on the same lane, so that when your opponent does go and try and fill up that Widow's Kissed lane, any of their on-reveal abilities are not gonna fire. Overall, not looking forward to playing against this one, but Destroy might be on the rise to counter this pocket meta. Moving right along, the Unholy Trinity makes it into the next deck, and I promise we're going to see these 3 cards everywhere this week. We're adding in the 4th Rider of the Apocalypse, Debris, into the mix here too, and we're making it worse with Hazmat, giving our Annihilus even more targets to send over and clog up the opponent. Now, this list isn't leaning completely into the lockdown part and just more into the junk and toxic part, but we're also going to have some power of our own on our side, and that's going to come from the Darkhawk. There's an interesting thing with Darkhawk that we don't always think about, and that is the disruption of the rocks that we add into our opponent's deck with the Korg and the rock slide. It does make a big difference when you miss your draws. If you're playing a Destroy deck with the intention of trying to clear out all the rocks and all of the junk, and you don't get to draw your Carnage or your Deathlock because you're drawing rocks instead, that matters. Looking at a list like this, I have to wonder if Luke Cage is going to be a win condition, depending on if you use the Hazmat and the Man Thing. You probably are going to want that Luke Cage down, but the timing of when you play it will be interesting too, because then if all of a sudden your rocks from Debris are not in the negatives anymore, they can't get sent over with Annihilus, you're going to have your thinking cap on to navigate this deck, but I am excited to try it out. We haven't been seeing as much Darkhawk recently, and this gives a good excuse to play the list and see if it feels strong. I think it will. Gnome is typically up in the top 50, if not even the top 30 players on Rank Ladder. He's incredibly good at the game, and so if he brews up a list, I'm gonna trust it. We can always sprinkle in personal preference, but for me, I'm probably just gonna copy and paste this thing and just give it a test and see how it feels. We'll take it from there. But if you like lists like this, especially seeing Darkhawk get used, Gnome's a great person to follow. All the links will be down below. Now, here's some spice for you in this one. I'm affectionately calling this one New Galactus because it is a new way to play Galactus, and this one is by Hannah, aka HannahsCatCafe. Again, all the links down below. So here, the thing that I'm guessing we're trying to do here is we play White Widow. We have Ghost Spider to move the White Widow out of that lane. We have the Hobgoblin, the Green Goblin, the Sentry, the Annihilus, whatever else to add more negative power to that lane. Hopefully our opponent fills it up in the attempts to cancel out the -4 power from our Widow's Kiss. And then boom, we make them kneel before Galactus. I am excited for this one. I know Galactus is a controversial card in Marvel Snap, but when you pull it off, it is kind of fun. So here we go. This list, I think you all can see what some of the other play lines can be. We have the backup Viper in case we don't draw into the Annihilus and we need to just get some junk over to our opponent. We have Red Hulk for just big fat stats and numbers. We've got Daredevil for more informed decisions. What's not to like here, all right? So get out there, go try and pull off the combo, and steal some cubes when you do, but be sneaky about it. Don't let them know in case they retreat, okay? I believe in you. And if you believe in me and you want to help me out massively, if you could just take a quick second and hit that like, hit the subscribe button, type a comment. I don't even care what it is. You can be mean to me. You can be nice to me. You could just write a jumble of letters. Either way, it would help massively as I'm trying to grow this channel up. Let's get over to the next deck. Now, this is one of the more creative lists that we have on the show today, and this one is by the King Tuccrr himself. We are running Jean Grey, we're running Sandman, we're running Negasonic, Teenage Warhead. We have all the spice in here. So it is still a lockdown control kind of list, but we're locking them down in a more unconventional way. It's not Professor X, it's not Storm, it's the Jean Grey, and it's the control that we get from Sandman so that they can't play as many cards, and then we just have a really impactful Dr. Doom that maybe enables our Miss Marvel that was already down. We have Vision that we can move different places. We have a guaranteed hit on Negasonic Teenage Warhead when she's in the Jean Grey lane. A lot of just really cool stuff here. What's really nice about the Jean Grey and the Nebula combo is you put Nebula somewhere else, you Jean Grey on a different lane, and then your Nebula gets to grow because they have to play onto your Jean Grey. Looking at the list too, I can't really think of a bad target for Iron Lad, so Lad should have a good hit pretty much every single time. The list just seems solid. It seems spicy. We'll see what the stats are. We see how it performs as we go on through the week. Overall, this seems like a really unique home for White Widow if you want to try a list outside of the Holy Trinity list that we'll be seeing plenty of. We're going to take a look at one last Unholy Trinity list, and then we'll move on to a more unconventional option to round off and finish up this video. And this one is by ZalSnaps. We've got the pretty straightforward stuff that we've seen before in using Debris and Hazmat in conjunction with the Annihilus to send over even more stuff. Professor X locking it down. We're adding in the Shang-Chi to give us a little bit more control when our opponents has some big stuff we just want to get rid of as a turn 4 play, probably. Although it could still fill in as a turn 6 play if we need it, with a Jeff into a Professor X lane. We've got some options here. The Red Hulk is just a big body. If we do manage to lock down one lane, Red Hulk can probably win another on his own, which is pretty wild to think about. And if you did skip on Red Hulk, you might want to save some tokens. He's a big boy, all right? So over here, I mean, it's straightforward. You know what the deck's trying to do. Selene doesn't have as many targets as maybe we'd want for cards in our hand, really just the hood that we're looking at. But if you have Luke Cage down, it doesn't matter. We're just kind of using the Selene as an offensive play to put your opponent's cards into negative numbers. There's not much more to say about this one. I think you all know what we're generally trying to do with lists like this. So if you want another option with a little twist, here it is. Now here's the final bit of spice for you, coming in with a full Clog focus list by Jeff Hoogland. And I gotta say, I am massively surprised that on none of these lists have we seen Grandmaster in conjunction with White Widow until right now. Because double Widow's Kisses sounds so annoying. And then Mojo, Debris, Absorbing Man to copy the White Widow, the Black Widow, the Debris. I mean, honestly, as long as you're not copying a Green Goblin with your Absorbing Man, you should be good here. This seems spicy spicy and annoying and frustrating to play against, and like there could be plenty of times where maybe this is gonna backfire on you and one Killmonger alone is gonna ruin your day. But overall, in the right matchups with the right timing and the right snapping, you really can steal some cubes with a list like this. I don't know if I would ever see these cards in these orders coming at me. It is really nice to see the inclusion of Carnage as just a tech card, just here to clean up things on our side when and if we need them. Spider-Woman doesn't see a lot of play, but honestly, turning her into a 5/12 essentially, if you hit 4 cards on the enemy side, that's a lot of power for 5 energy, and I really dig it here. So if you're kind of player that's willing to go all in on clogging up your opponent and that's how you're gonna get your win condition, grab this list. It's linked in the description below, and get out there and make your opponent super frustrated, or maybe make yourself super frustrated if you can't pull off the wins. But again, like I said before, I believe in you, so you got it. If you made it all the way through the video, that means you're hot. I checked with my people, they verified it. Everyone who makes it this far is a hottie certified. All right, you guys, thank you. Another scouting report in the books. I will be back next week to talk about the brand new card, talk about where we can slot it in, and we can have some fun playing Marvel Snap. Much love, everybody. I'll see you on the next one.